Okay, it's really windy. I probably should have made a video earlier, but I got my last 2 plum trees today, and I planted these ones last week, but the fencing was too small and the chickens have already dug around a lot of it. It's impossible to keep mulch on the ground when you have free-range chickens like that little bastard. But yeah, I got some fencing, and this is the last of it, so I need to buy more fencing before I can really get any more trees in the ground. But this is gonna be 4 native plum trees, which should grow really well here in Maine, and they'll take about 4 years to start producing. And they're a little close. I planted them, I don't know, like 6 feet apart from each other, but once they get big enough, I'll just kind of hedge them together and keep them as one nice hedge and kind of flatten the top, and that usually works good with these. But yeah, they're sorry, somebody just pulled in. Yeah, they're looking good, and yeah, we'll see how they do over the summer. They should get a lot bigger because they're pretty good. Those are like 1.5 year plants. But all right, I gotta go see what's going on. DOT was filling, sorry about that, DOT was filling some water tank to clean off the bridge, I guess. But we put these aluminum tags where you carve the name of what you're planting, and I also put bare root, and then I put the name of the nursery on there, and then put the year on there so you know what year you planted stuff. And yeah, what I did was I mixed the native soil with a little bit of old potting soil that I've used like for 4 years. It's pretty much not good for containers anymore. So I moved it into these holes just to give some aeration and some more organic material to break down. And then I put the plant in, and then I put 6 inches of mulch. And I got a really good deal on this black mulch because it was sitting around for 2 years at this guy's store. So he gave it to me at like less than half price. So yeah, the black mulch will get them warmed up early in the season, but it's really windy. That's probably all you can hear. But I got these planted, so I gotta go and put the tags on. I planted some Nakin cherries and some Hanson bush cherries over in the cherry garden 2 days ago. So I gotta go over there and put tags on them. But in about a week, we're gonna get all the hascap plants, so we'll see how it goes. I got that area cleared out. That's a pile of stumps that I've already pulled up, so everything can be mowed over there. So pretty much got the area cleared for hascap. Now I got to go out back and clear the area for the 200 blueberry plants. So sadly, Fluffy looks like she's sick. She may just be really tired, but she may be egg bound. I'm not really sure. She didn't lay her egg today, and she did spend some time in the coop, a bunch of time. But she was fine, running around, completely fine. And it's like 7 now, but at like 3:30, she like stopped in the middle of the field all of a sudden, and she kind of sat there and looked like she was sick, and like she was trying to squeeze out an egg. And then she went into the coop and sat in there for like 2 hours. And then she's finally just come out of the coop, and she's usually the most active one, especially if there's treats. She'll go crazy for them. And she didn't want any treats. She wouldn't take any food or water. And now she's like falling asleep standing up out here, which she's never done before. She's pretty much the most active chicken I have, so it's very unusual for her. So I'm sad. They all turn 1 next month, at the end of next month. So I'll be sad if something happens to Fluffy before she even turns 1. Plus she's a good egg producer, and she's a smart chicken. She's been the head of the pecking order the whole time. I don't know, but she's never fallen asleep like this, like before it's bedtime, ever. Sometimes in the middle of the day they'll all rest in the sun, but she's acting totally weird. So I don't really know. I'll watch some videos tonight about birds that are egg bound, but it's only been 1 day. She laid an egg yesterday, so I don't know how quick you have to try to take care of this, but I'm gonna watch some stuff tonight. I mean, I've seen some stuff, but there's not that much I can do for her. I don't really have any way to get some warm water together. Try to boil some water on the stove tonight and keep it warm all night, so in the morning I can try to do something with her. I saw some people put their chickens in some warm water for the couple hours and then the egg popped out. But I don't know. I would think if she was egg bound, she wouldn't look like this. I don't know. She didn't lay her egg today though, so I don't know what's going on. What are you doing? Mama Bear's trying to get the little bit of water that's in that thing. Mama, there's a water dish right over here. Get your whole head in there. She's gonna try to get her whole head in there. She's gonna get stuck. Be running around with it on her head. You see that little bit of water you're trying to get to? Well, all the other chickens are doing great, so hopefully it's nothing contagious. Yeah, look at her. She's like completely sleeping. Hopefully she's just going to push out an egg here soon and then she'll be fine. But it's almost bedtime, so hopefully she gets up on the perch and gets in the coop. If she doesn't do that, then she's definitely done for. We have animals, predators every night in the yard, and they don't mess with the chickens because the chicken coop's so solid. Like, they can go in the run and they still won't ever get in the coop. So, yeah, she's safe in there, but hopefully she doesn't sleep on the floor of the coop all night. If she does, she probably won't make it. It's also still cold. It's been warm lately, but last night was 20 degrees, and it's going to get down to 20 degrees tonight again. It's springtime, so she's been in like cold weather, like -10 all winter. So it couldn't have been the one cold night. I mean, it's been cold every night. It's been below freezing every night so far the whole season, but last night did get down to 20. But I don't think that did it. She was fine this morning. So yeah, I don't know. I'll keep you posted. Hopefully she's fine, little fluffy nuts. Chickens are here. I just ripped up this piece of dead stump, and look at that. There's 2 of them. There might be more in there, but there's nails, which is strange. I don't see many snails. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 since I've been out here in the forest, but we're deep in the forest. So yeah, it's weird. There's a colony of them in this dead, rotting log. Garden snails. I have to bury them somewhere, I guess, or something. I don't know what to do with them. Chickens are in the woods. But I just ripped up that tree and I cut it up from the stump and then pushed it over, which is definitely a little bit easier to get the stumps up. Yeah, I cut all this out. I stumped a lot of it, but I still got some stumps. But all of this all the way around, you can't see it because the pile's blocking it. But from that tree all the way in is all cleared. And it's been raked and everything is ready for mowing. So I got like a dozen or so little stumps here, and they're the gray birch, which are hard to dig up, so they're gonna take me a while. But I dug all day yesterday and my shoulders are killing me, so I'm going to cut firewood today. I've got a nice load of it right here. Usually don't burn this gray birch, but it does burn okay. It lights and burns really well actually, and it gets pretty hot, almost just as hot as the maple. So it's not bad. It gunks up the chimney though, because it has a lot of oil in that bark. So I usually don't use it, but we got a whole bunch of it coming down, probably about a quart of it. So I'm just gonna stack it and burn it next year. Probably burn it, you know, at the peak of winter where it's really, really hot stove, and then I won't get so much stuff from it. But yeah, just clearing. Looking good though. Any of you who remember what it looks like when I got here, it didn't look anything like this. There was only a trail onto this property into thick woods. So now I've got 3 or 4 acres cleared down here and about 2 acres cleared out back. So it's pretty nice. But I got a load of firewood here, so I'm gonna go drop that off over by the pile. And then there's a beetle that kills these elms. So that one elm is good, but all these other elms are not. They're all dead already and drying. So I'm gonna take those out, and there's one maple back there that's gonna be blocking too much sun to the hasp cap. So I'm gonna cut that down. That'll be the last. That'll be as much firewood as I need for next year. So that'll be the last big tree I'll have to take down. I want to get it down before these leaves come on. All right, well, the chickens just got freaked out. They were trying to check out the fire, and obviously chickens and fires don't go well. It's number 2 sitting over there hiding from it, but just started it up with a bunch of dry debris that I got in the woods here from clearing all this land. It looks pretty good, almost mowable all the way around, and I gotta get the chipper out and still process that huge giant pile. But all the dry rotted stuff that's not gonna make good chips, and it's too small for the fireplace, is getting burned here, which is just a little bit of debris, but mostly is these stumps. These stumps really can't be processed into any other thing, and they're really hard to get rid of. You know, I could dig a big hole and put them in there, but I don't have any equipment. So I'm gonna start this fire, get some good coals going, and once there's good coals going, I'll put 3 or 4 stumps on at a time and let them burn down, and keep on doing that until hopefully all these 20 stumps or so, 20 or 30 of them here, I'll be all burnt up and out of my way and out of my life, which is nice because I just dug those all up with a shovel over the last 3 weeks. So get this all burnt down tonight, and then tomorrow I'm gonna get the chipper out and start working on that, and we'll probably have another fire going tomorrow while we do that. And all the little really teeny small stuff will burn in the fire, but everything else will chip up and put on the gardens. Yeah, so that fire is raging. It's going real good. It's nice and everything's nice and dry. It rained last night though, so it's not like dangerously dry or anything. But I got a little watering can. I keep control of things too, so I'm gonna go fill that up and grab that, and this should be burnt down to coals when I get back from that, and I can put some of these stumps on there. Oh, there's chickens in the yard as usual. The sky's turning really gray. It's about to rain, but I've been doing a little burning, but mainly been doing chipping. I hadn't ran that chipper for 2 years, so I was afraid it wasn't gonna start, but it started right up. I got all the birch chipped up, and some of the maple, but I still have a pretty good grip of maple there. So I'm gonna spend a couple days chipping, but it's gonna start raining. It might rain tomorrow, so I don't know. I can't run the chipper in the rain. Got a few more stumps left, but then this whole area all the way around will be cleared from this year, which I'm pretty excited about. And I got plenty of chips for this garden here, which is where the squash is gonna go. Pretty much covered now. And I'm gonna start making chips for that garden over there. Plus I'm gonna go gather some more chips from the woods where that truck fell over. But yeah, I'm pretty psyched. Got definitely enough chips for this garden already. And I'm probably only, I don't know, probably only about a third of the way through this pile. Not even halfway through yet. So I should have another pile of chips about as big as this one. Which, this chipper is a pain in the butt to use. You gotta feed one stick at a time in. That's why I didn't use it last year. But it does make really fine chips that break down really quick. You know, they break down within like a year's period, and seeds and a lot of plants will push through it. You know, they're not so heavy that the plants won't push through it, so they're really good chips for the garden. Been a hassle trying to keep the mulch on these trees because the chickens are obsessed with pulling the mulch away from the trees, and I don't have enough fencing. Like, that's how it has to be done. See that one? That has a fencing that goes around the entire mulch, and then it has a fencing for voles and mice around the actual tree. That's how you want to do it up here. But fencing is expensive, and I don't have enough to go around every tree. So I've trained the chickens not to touch it, but you know, when my back's turned, sometimes they'll get in and dig it up. Buck knows not to do it, but sometimes he'll look at me and just do it on purpose, just so I yell at him. He's a pain in the butt like that. But it's starting to rain, so put you away and hopefully put these chickens away if they'll listen. I'm back out here trying to chip up the rest of this pile. Still got a lot, but the one of my chickens, not this one, but another one, made a nest under it because it's a really safe spot where nothing can get to. And the other hens there's 3 nesting boxes, but they only use one and they fight over it. So one of the chickens has just decided she's gonna nest in this pile. So I gotta get it broken down so she doesn't have the pile to nest in. A lot of animals like piles like this though. It's like a perfect place for a squirrel or a chipmunk to get away from a fox or a bird of prey. And same thing with small birds and chickens. But I got these chips and I'm making stakes so I can put up the last. Hopefully I have enough fencing because I fenced that garden off from them. And I think there's enough fencing to maybe cover this garden. But this is where I'm putting all the chips, and I've covered this garden. So I just got to keep making chips and I'll be able to cover that garden over there. Plus I'm gonna go grab some chips from the other spot like I said yesterday. But yeah, there's a robin that has a nest in a spruce tree over there. And every time Buck gets close to it, she attacks him. So he hates this bird. Like, he doesn't know what her deal is. He doesn't realize she has eggs. But he hates her now. Every time he sees her in the yard, he freaks out. And the nest is pretty close. So if they go over there, she'll pretty much attack him constantly. And Buck's trying to fight her, trying to catch her. But I don't know, I think they'll get along fine. He'll learn to stay away from that area for the next month. But yeah, I'm just chipping. Hopefully this pile will be gone next time I see you guys. So far these plants are not looking very good. Vast majority of them are broken. And I've only opened 1 box so far. I'm not good. Cooking some rice and heating up some chili that I made yesterday. I jarred up about 10 jars. That keep me going for the next week and a half. That and eggs, pretty much what I eat every day. Just getting to the end of this fire, and that whole pile of debris that was there is gone. There's 1 stump there in the middle that was being covered by the debris that I have to dig up. But then everything on this side of these maple trees is done, and then I have like 10 smaller stumps that I have to dig up on the other side, and then the whole area that we're gonna clear over here is gonna be done for the year. I made a crap load of chips, and I have all the sticks that are processed that are straight that I can put straight in the chipper. So I still got another pile, but I probably made like, I don't know, another 4 or 5 wheelbarrows full of chips. The chipper's working pretty good. So I guess as I need mulch for all these orchard projects, I'll just have to cut down straight birch trees and just make chips because that'll be the cheapest way to do it. So that's what I'll be doing, and I have a lot of chips there already that I can use for a lot of different projects. So won't need any chips for a minute, but whenever I do, I'll just process all these straight white birch, gray birch I have. But yeah, cooking over the fire. It's nice. Too warm probably to run the stove tonight, but it's gonna get kind of cold at night. But I'll probably just run it in the morning, or I might not run it at all. I don't know. Depends on how cold it gets tonight. But figured, had this going already, I'd get dinner cooking and not use any propane. Chickens are just getting in the coop. There's 1 left over there. Number 2, she's the last one. They don't let her get in until everybody's situated. Yeah, so it's a pretty hard day of clearing and getting stuff out of the way, but that whole pile's gone. Makes me psyched. See what tomorrow has. Actually, I think I'm gonna plant like 5 or 10 of those Nakin cherries with the Nakins that are already there. I'm gonna dig some holes and put some mulch down and probably put all 10 of those in the next couple days. I really don't understand how clones like this are supposed to be acceptable for sale. I really don't. It's really sad. I mean, that's half of the tray right there. That's at least 25 of them out of the 72. Pathetic. And even the ones that I did save and get in cups don't look that great. They probably will all survive, hopefully. They don't look that great. And I'm using fertilizer that is actually designed for blueberries, so I know they're getting everything they need. Oh, planted some potatoes and burned the bags tonight. Getting the fire going. I'm gonna try to fry some french fries, some potatoes on here, which I usually don't do on the open fire, just because the oil's dangerous, but I have a lot of room out here, so I shouldn't have a problem if something happens. It's just hard to maintain oil temperature with a fire. But I got some french fries that are all cut up, so I'm gonna cook those, and then I have another jar of chili, which I have every night. And I'm gonna do some chili on top of some french fries. Sounds good. So I figured I'd try that. And I have some oil, some vegetable oil someone gave me. I usually don't eat it, but I figured I got some french fries, I might as well have them. I'm still eating rice every day. That plant company contacted me today too, and they're gonna resend all those bush cherries that got messed up in shipping, so that's cool. At least we're gonna get those. And I planted some of the Nakin cherries, but I gotta plant another 8 Nakin cherries this week, and then when those other cherries come, I gotta figure out where those are gonna go. And then I gotta try to plant like 50 Haskap too sometime in the next couple weeks, and the black flies have already started. It's kind of nice cooking dinner over the open fire, because when you're by the fire is the only time you get a break from these black flies. Like by the fire, they aren't that bad. They kind of stay away from the fire. The mosquitoes came out today too, and they came out like crazy, probably because of the water bins on the cabin. There's probably some multiplication going on in there. Well, yeah, I'm getting this fire going. I'm gonna put some hot oil on there and the jar of chili and get it all cooked up, and we'll see how the oil goes. If it goes well, I have a whole bunch of fries, so I'm gonna try to cook those this week. Keep the oil going out here. I'll put a jar out here that I can put the oil in, and then just use the oil over again. So yeah, coals are almost ready. Well, there's the setup, and it's nice and hot. I've got a good bit of coals, and I kept some bigger stuff burning on the outer edge, which I can break coals off of if the coals get down, because you know, so a lot of guys will start a fire and get the coals up, but then what they're cooking takes longer than the coals lived, and then they have to start a whole new fire. So you want to make sure that you plan ahead for that. But this will be a nice change in the diet. Instead of just chili and rice every night, have some chili fries. I even have some frozen American cheese I can put on it. It's gonna be great. Chickens are freaked. Figures. Got a lightning storm, or thunderstorm coming, I guess. I haven't seen lightning yet, but I hear thunder. But here's the project, and hopefully we can get it done before it starts raining. Get this oil off. The last thing we need is rain, hot oil. That's just gonna mess everything up. Figures how things go. But yeah, probably 10 minutes out from those french fries being done, and I'll get those off of there, and then we'll bring the oil inside to cool down if we have to. But I got a jar here to put it in. Disgusting soybean oil. I usually don't use it for anything. I don't eat stuff that has it in it either. But someone gave me a bunch of french fries for free, so I figured I should eat them, and the only way I have to cook them is this way, really. So yeah, I guess we're eating vegetable oil today, which is the worst thing you can pretty much put in your body. But it'll be a nice change up. But let's hopefully I can get it done before it starts raining. Well, pitch dark in the cabin. Can't even see anything, but there's the chili, there's the fries. I gotta put them in a bowl. It is downpouring. Just got the chickens put away. As soon as the lightning cracked, Buck knew what was up. He got in the coop. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get dinner down now. It started raining before the fries are really completely done. All right, this looks like a giant pile, but this is actually where we're gonna be planting. This is where we're gonna be planting the squash and some pumpkins. So a lot of this wood chips has to stay here, but it's really thick and piled up on this end of this garden, because this is where I chipped everything. But I had to fill the wheelbarrow back full, and then over there, right there, we're planting our first 10 Hass caps, and I'm gonna do a row of 10, and then I'm gonna do another row of 10, 10 feet apart, and then I'm gonna do another row of 10, so 30 plants today. And we're putting them in spring, and they're only a little bit bigger than the size of plugs because I got the plugs 2 weeks ago and I put them in cups and soil, but haven't had a lot of chance to grow into that soil. They're kind of slow growing. I was expecting them to be a little faster growing than they are, but either way, I'm gonna put 30 of them in spring while they're really small right now and see how well they grow like that. And then I'm gonna have about 60 of them that, or maybe 80 of them that I'm gonna keep in cups all summer. And if they outgrow the cups, then I'll move them to 1 gallon pots. But I'm gonna grow them in the greenhouse and let them turn into a small bush, and then plant those in fall. And we'll see which plants do better next year. And depending on which plants are doing better, you know, maybe I'll put them straight in the ground. They're supposed to be in the ground. These are like not greenhouse plants, the Haskap or honeyberry. But they're so small that, you know, if a rabbit or something gets to them, or even the chickens mess with them, they could kill them pretty easily. So yeah, I don't know if this is the right way to do it. Putting them out in spring has little plugs, or if I should be waiting and putting bigger plants out. So we're gonna do a test right now and see, but I gotta put another wheelbarrow full of the mulch in there, and we're only putting enough mulch down that we can prevent a little bit of grass from growing, but it's mainly just so I know where the plants are. When I go to mow, I don't mow over them, you know. If they were just in the grassy field, I probably would just mow over them, or like, you know, it'd be a pain in the butt. So I'm gonna put a little ring of mulch around them, which will help them grow, but it will also just make it really clear where the rows are. So I'm gonna get this, and then I'll bring you back out when we're over there putting the first 10 are gonna be the Tundra, which is a pollinating strain. Not a huge producer, but it pollinates the big producers that are gonna go in the next row. So that's what we're doing today. All right, so as you can see, they are quite small in these little patches that we're putting here. And we put them 4 foot on center, about, roughly. I didn't really measure them right, but they're 4 foot on center, and they're in a straight line, so we can put posts up and put fencing over them. On year 2 or year 3, when we start going into commercial production, we're gonna put netting over them, because the birds, nothing really eats these plants, and the bugs don't really eat them because they're native to the northern regions. But the birds will eat the berry. They like the berry, all the birds do. So we're gonna keep them in straight rows so we can put netting over them, and we'll probably keep 4 or 5 nets here, and they don't all mature at the same time. So, you know, we'll net like the first like third of them early, and then we'll net the other ones with the same nets 3 weeks later after they've harvested, because they kind of all harvest at once if black flies are out. But just got these holes. Yeah, like I said, they're 4 foot on center, which means when they grow in, they're going to be one consistent hedge, which I wanted to do 6 foot apart, and then they'll kind of be a 6 foot wide individual plant, each one, so you can get around and pick all around them. But I really don't have enough room here to do that, and when you do the hedges, it's a little bit easier to use machine pickers if I decide to do that down the road. But mainly I just don't have room to put them 6 feet apart, you know, like that's just too spread out. And yeah, if I want them to work out and not have to dig my whole yard up, kind of keep them over here in this corner, I'm gonna have to put them in a little more compact than I wanted to. But yeah, so we're gonna do the Tundra in this row, and the next row will be the Indigo Gem, which is something that is pollinated by the Tundra. And then next we'll do 2 rows of the Blizzard, and then we're gonna keep a row empty. So next spring, when I get some more of the Beast variety, the Beast variety is the best pollinator for the blizzard, but the tundra will pollinate the blizzard as well. And you really only need a pollinator every 5th row. So do 3 or 4 rows of big producers and then put a row of the pollinator. The pollinators are still gonna produce, but they produce a little bit less than the big varieties. Like the big varieties are the biggest varieties that they've selected, the cultivars. So yeah, and I have 2 beasts that are in another garden. Is I bought some plants that are a little bit bigger that'll actually produce berries this year, and they're starting to grow right now. They've come out of dormancy. So I bought 6 of those so I could have berries and test them out this year. And those were the Boreal Beast and the Boreal Beauties. And the Beast pollinates the Beauties, and they also pollinate the Blizzard, which I have some Blizzards, but I don't have a whole row of Beast for them. But the ones that I bought that are bigger, that are in the main garden, by the end of this season, those will be big enough that I can take 10 clones off of those. So I'll do that. And then by next spring, I'll have a row of 10 beasts that I can put in the middle of the blizzards. And then within 2 years, they'll be big enough that they'll be pollinating. So that's my plans. And maybe next year I'll order a tray of blizzards too. A tray of beasts, just so I can have them to put throughout the gardens. Because I got like, I think I have 40 of the blizzards. But the blizzards is the best tasting cultivar that they've come out with yet, and that's the University of Saskatoon. I can't ever say that word, but it's a university up in Canada. They've developed this because this is a plant that they've developed to grow in Canada and other Zone 3 areas, and they found a couple varieties that were bigger than the blizzard, but they didn't taste as good. They weren't as sweet. The blizzard is the biggest, best tasting that they have. So that's the one that I want to plant the most of. But this year we're just going to do a variety of everything. And by the end of next year, we'll basically have all the major strains that the university is working on, we'll have here on the property. So we can test them all out and see how they go. And I'm going to be opening up another couple acres on a far side of my lot. And if everything goes well with these, I'll be filling that acreage with more Haskap. So yep, just digging a little hole with a trowel. I dig a hole with a shovel first, and then come in with the trowel and just plop each of the plugs in there, and then put the mulch around it, so that way we can find the plug easily. The chickens are being bastards though. I have all the cherries that I planted last week. Yeah, I put all the bush cherries, not all of them, but I planted all the Nakin cherries, and then I have some Jan, Joel, and Joy bush cherries that are gonna go on the other side right over there. I have to cut that black cherry tree down. I'm not gonna cut it down completely. I'll cut it like right there, and then a new top will form, and it will just be a lot shorter, so it won't block sun to all those cherries. But yeah, got a good cherry patch, but the chickens are being bastards. They will not stay out of the mulch. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be, I can't afford to put fencing around every single plant. Like when I'm planting hundreds of plants, it's just not very practical. But if I don't have a lot of fencing around them, like every tree I put double fencing around, so then the chickens can't dig into the mulch at all. But I can't do that with every plant. So Buck, the rooster, he's pretty much trained. He knows he's not supposed to dig in the mulch, but he does not do a good job at keeping the girls out of it. And you know, he tries. I can tell he's trying. They also have been going in the road lately, which is super annoying. But Buck will stay right on the edge of the road and not go into the road, but he just can't keep the girls from going into the road. So when I go out there, the girls will be right in the middle of the road. And they almost got hit by a Mack truck the other day, dummies. If they get hit, whatever. It's like I'm at the point of ready to shoot them, but obviously I eat eggs every day, so I don't want to get rid of my chickens because they're a valuable resource. But it's pretty annoying when they dig up all the mulch around every single tree every day. I have to go around with a rake and re-rake the mulch every day. So, pain in the butt. There they are right now. Buck's making his weird high-pitched humming noise that he likes to make. He does it every time there's a car coming, and he can hear the car coming for 2 miles away, and he'll start making that noise. So He does do good for security, and he's a good guard chicken. At night, someone pulled up to the driveway at like 1:30 the other night. I don't know who it was, some crackhead probably, but they pulled up to the driveway, and Buck immediately in the coop started going crazy. Like, he was just cock-a-doodle doing over and over again until I got up. So he does make a really good guard chicken. He does, you know, he keeps an eye on everything at night, and he's really good at protecting the girls. He's ready to fight the eagle. He definitely will fight any bird that comes in the yard. He wants to fight now, so he's ready to fight the eagle. But they're a pain in the butt. He makes so much noise. If I had neighbors, they would hate Buck, because he definitely makes a ton of noise, and the hens just don't listen. The little bitches, for sure. So, but I'm gonna get back to it. Eventually this whole area here is gonna be mowed and be hascaps, but right there is gonna be a hascap area too. But this year we're gonna dig that up and put 3 or 4 rows, because I don't have any place for the potatoes. I forgot all about potatoes, so I planted half of them out back the other day, out in the organic patch. That organic patch hasn't had potatoes for 4 years, so I planted everything back there. But I still have about 50 or 60 pounds of potatoes I saved from last year, and I'm gonna put them right here and get that dug up today, hopefully, and get those in the ground, and then I won't have to think about them anymore. But wherever we plant potatoes this year, once we pull the potatoes up in August, the plants that we have in the greenhouse in cups, the hascap, once we grow them all season into a small bush, then we'll put them where the potatoes are once we pull the potatoes. And that's where they'll be after this fall. That way I don't have to dig a potato rows and more hascap in the fall. I'll just put them where the potatoes were. So that's the plan. That's what I'm doing. And the black flies are awful, and the mosquitoes came really early this year, so the bugs are almost unbearable. But I got my head cap on, my head net, and I'm dealing with it. The chickens are dealing with it. They don't touch Fluffy. Like, the black flies don't go near Fluffy, and it's like, she's the only one that's figured out if she just stops for a second that she can eat all the black flies that are around her, and she will. She'll stop for a second, eat every single black fly around her. And for the most part, the black flies somehow can tell she's a predator, because they just stay away from her now. Which is funny, because they don't, all the other chickens are covered in them, but she's figured out how to beat them somehow. Fluffy's a crazy little one. That's window's kind of dirty, but I just wanted to end this real quick with telling you that Fluffy was okay. I thought I had a video from later that day, but I didn't see it when I went to edit. But yeah, Fluffy, she squished out a bunch of like egg whites in the middle of the yard, and then she hopped up into the coop and then squished out an egg yolk with no shell, and then she was fine the next day. So she's fine now, I guess.